Okay. So here I will be talking or discussing about our last topic, which are to be included in your midterm examination. So our last topic would be the measures of central tendency. But before we go on to the different measures of central tendency, let's first try to discuss kung ano nga ba iyon. First, let's try to know what a descriptive measure is. Pag sinabi nating descriptive, or when we go back to our topic back then, which is on data, on variables, on the different presentations of data and variables, I was able to discuss or define kung ano yung mga data. So now, of course, when you have a set of data, there are different types or ways that you can describe them. And pag sinabi nating descriptive measures, it is one of the ways that you can describe a set of data by using numbers. So pag nag-describe ka ng data using numericals or numbers, that's considered to be descriptive, or yeah, it is in descriptive measures. So for example, the context of your data is uh, students according to their gender. Of course, there are males and females, and you can describe them by counting how many males are there, how many females are there. And when you say there are 24 males and 21 females, by that type or by that example itself, or by that saying or by saying that number itself, you are already describing your data, which is the students according to their gender or sex. So that means na basta pag meron kang dinedescribe na set of data using numericals or numbers, that's considered to be descriptive. Now, there are two or marami tayong different descriptive measures. There's plenty of them, but two of the most important descriptive measures are the measures of central tendency and the measures of dispersion, or sometimes they are called measures of variation. So our main topic for today would be the measures of central tendency. Now, ang measures of central tendency have been, or it is usually the most basic topic or karaniwan ninyong nadidiscuss if you are talking about statistics. So, we define measures of central tendency to be a example or one of the most important descriptive measures that are used, ginagamit natin siya to indicate where the center is, the middle property is, or the most typical value of a set of data lies. Parang tinitignan natin from the word itself, central. Saan ba nakasentro yung data natin? What's the middle property? What's the most typical value of our data? So, and of course, here are some of the types or examples of measures of central tendency. Ito yung mga kinukuha natin para ma-measure natin yung central tendency ng mga data. First is the mean, next is the median, and the mode. Now, if you can still remember, I presented on our discussion noon the different symbols that we are using to denote some statistical tools kung saan gumamit tayo ng for population and for sample. Kung naaalala ninyo, ang population, ito yung kabuuan. Sample, it's only a part of your population. So, mas malaki yung sakop ng ating population kesa sa sample. Kasi yung sample na yun, kinuha mo lang siya dun sa malaking population mo. So, if you can still remember, here is the same table that I've shown you in our discussion on the presentation of data. So here is the population and here is the statistics or the sample. And here, nakikita ninyo that you have your mean here. And mean is one of the ways on how you can measure the central tendency of the data. Now, we also have here the size. Ang size natin, it means that these are the numbers of data. Kung meron kang 5 na numbers doon, that means your n is 5. Ganun lamang. Your mean, that will be discussed. And here, ang importante ninyong dapat malaman or ang matatackle natin or madidiscuss natin for today would be the mean, the median, the mode, and of course, the standard deviation and the variance. So here are the notations that you need to remember or to be familiarized with. So, unahin natin yung mean. Usually, ginagamit or most of the time, or ito talaga, ito yung ginagamit natin to denote our mean. It is X bar. Ang X bar ay ginagamit for sample. So, gumagamit tayo ng sample ha. Kasi for population naman, ang ginagamit natin is yung mu. So, this is mu for population. X bar is for statistics or sample. So, here is your sample or this is how you will get or kung ano ba ang ating mean, let's try to know. Pag sinabi nating mean, this is just the average scores. So, sometimes you know what average means or you are already familiar kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng average. Kasi, sinasabi nyo, what is your general weighted average in school? And there's no difference dito sa sinasabi nating mean kasi mean and average are just the same. They just differ from the context. Kasi of course, pag sinabi mong mean, this is used in statistical or in statistics or as a statistical tool. So for us to get the mean, we just get the average of the data or the average of the scores. Now, there are data kasi where it is either ungrouped or grouped. Pag sinabi mong ungroup, they are just the raw data. Sila lang yung, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yun lamang ang inyong raw data or the ungrouped variables or ungrouped data. Pero meron din naman tayong group. Pag sinabi mo namang group, they are presented mostly on tables and meron kang frequencies kasi and meron ka ring interval. So yun yung ating usually classifications of data, the group and ungroup. And there are also different things or different methods on how we can classify data. Pero here, ang ating ipo-focus lamang for this discussion would be the ungroup. Meaning, puro raw data la ang iti we are going to discuss or we are going to find its central tendency. So, ang formula natin for ungrouped data is just the summation of all the numbers all over n. So, ang ibig sabihin, ang n natin is just the number of items. So, kung meron kang given na 1, 2, and 3, your 1, 2, and 3 would be the numbers or they will be your x of 1, x of 2, and x of 3. And ang inyong magiging n will be 3 kasi tatlo lamang sila. So therefore, for you to get their mean, ang gagawin mo lang is you add that numbers and divide it by 3. So that would be your mean. So let's try to look at some examples para mas lalo ninyong maintindihan. For example, you are asked to find or to consider the exam scores of Juan de la Cruz. So Juan de la Cruz got the following scores in his statistics subject. And the scores are 76, 76, 62, 51, 45, 27, 12, 6, and 2. Now, you are going to find the mean. Now, pag sinabi mong mean, it's just the average. And since they are raw data, meaning they are ungrouped, this is an example of an ungrouped data. As in, row lamang siya, given lamang are numbers. Okay? So, you're just going to find their mean. And you can do that by following our formula, which is to just simply add all of them and then divide it by the total number of items. So, ilan ang total number of items? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Therefore, ang n natin ay 9. So, makukuha natin, and don't forget, I told you na already, x bar is our notation for mean, for sample mean. Therefore, yan yung gagamitin natin. X bar is just equal to the summation or just add all of the data and you divide it by 9. Yung 9 natin, yun yung n. And then, just simplify it. So, you will get 357 over 9. Or if you will simplify this further, you will be able to get 18.78947368, so on and so forth. But here we can just round off to the nearest hundreds or 2 decimal places lang. So 18.79. That would be the mean. So yung ang X bar natin for Juan de la Cruz or the mean of the scores of Juan de la Cruz is just 18.79. Okay? So that's example number 1. Let's try to look at our example number 2. So here is our example number 2. Now, for example, or the context of our problem here is Zamiel's favorite game is Tetris. Now, he recorded his different scores every time he played and he recorded the following numbers or data. So, ang kanyang na-record ay 100, 89, 78, 90, 111, and 88. So, now, he's wondering kung ano ba yung mean of his scores. Ano ba yung average na scores niya pag naglalaro siya ng Tetris. So, since they are again presented to be row or ungrouped, since nakawara-wara daladta, so they are ungrouped, that means that you can use the formula for getting the mean of an ungrouped data, which is just the sum of all the data all over the total number of items. Now, kung bibilangin ninyo, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, or 6 number of items. Therefore, ang n ninyo ay 6. And ang gagawin nyo lang is to just simply add all of them and you will be getting, or simplifying it, you will be getting 556 all over the total number of items, which is 6. So 556 all over 6 would be 92.6667. So continuous yan. But as I said kanina, we are just going to round it off until 2 decimal places. So that would be 92.67. So that is the mean scores of Zamiel when he is playing Tetris. Okay? So that is our mean. Now, we are only, as I said kanina, we are only going to focus on the ungrouped data muna. So therefore, we can now go to the second most important measures of central tendency, which is on the median. Now, the difference here is X bar for mean, and here is parang X idle for median. So, ganyan naman yung kanyang notation. For median, it's just X and like that. For mean, it's X over or X bar. Okay? Pag sinabi mo namang median, when we talk about the ungrouped data, it's just the number that occupies the middle position in an array of values. Ibig sabihin, kapag meron kang values and when they are organized or arranged in the sense na from the lowest or the smallest value to the greatest value or in an increasing order, the number in the middle position would be the median. Now, magkaiba yung pagkuha ng median if the data or the total number of items ay odd or the total number of items ay even. Pag add ang inyong number of items, that's easier. That's easier kasi nga, you know na pag-add, meron ka talagang iisang middle number. And that would be immediately your median. Pero kapag even kasi, meron kang dalawang numbers sa gitna. or meron kang dalawang numbers on the middle position. And the only thing that you can do to get your median here is to get the average of those two numbers. Therefore, i-average mo or you will get the mean of those two numbers kapag even yung number of items mo to get the median. Let's try to look at this example para mas maintindihan ninyo. For example, you are considering this set of exam scores by Juan de la Cruz again. But this time, ang hinahanap mo is the median. Ang sabi natin, when we find the median, ang una nyong gagawin is to arrange. I-arrange mo muna yung data in an increasing order. Meaning, yung pinakamababa yung nandito, while the largest number will be here. Therefore, ang pinakamababa is 2, kaya magiging ganito yung pagkakasulat. So, 2, 6, 12, 27, 45, 51, 62, 76, 76. Now, for you to get the median, yung pinakagitna, you can eliminate basta by partner. Since ang median ay yung nasa gitna. So, ang ating median is 45. That's it. That's your median. That's your median score. This is an example of an add n. Ibig sabihin, add number ang kanyang total number of items. Kasi ang total number of items natin dito ay 9. So since 9 is add, kaya meron tayong iisang median number. But what if meron kang even number of items? What would you do? So first, before you get the median of the following data, ang gagawin mo muna is to arrange them. Based from this, makikita mo na ang lowest value is 60, while the highest value is 100. So that's 60, 63, 73, so on and so forth until you get 100. Now, if you will do again what I did kanina, which is to eliminate by pair, you will be getting 60 and 100, 63 and 91, 73 and 86, 74 and 83. Now, you are left with two numbers in the middle. And ang gagawin mo lamang for you to get the median here, if ganito yung case, is to get the average of the two numbers. And paano nga ba ulit natin gagamitin or kukunin ang mean ng row data since they are row? You will just add 77 and 81 and you divide it by 2 kasi duwa lang met. So that would be your mean, or I mean your median. Okay? That's the median, or that's how you get a median for an even number na n. So that's your median. Now we are done with your mean. We are also done with your median. Let's go to your mode. Pag sinabi mo namang mode, here is the notation. This is like X and like a cup. Okay? So that's how we use, or that's how we denote a mode. Pag sinabi mo namang mode, it is the most frequent occurring na score in the ungrouped data. Pag sinabi mong frequently occurring, yan yung halos palaging nagpapakita. Yan yung palaging halos lumalabas doon sa set of data mo. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi mong mode, this is the numbers or values kung saan yan yung pinakamaraming bilang. Like for example, meron kang data na 1, 3, 5, 1, 4, 1, 2. Here, as you can see, yan ang nauulit-ulit or ang bilang ng 1 dito ay 3. Ang bilang ng 3, 5, 4, and 2 ay tag-iisa lamang. That means that na ang mode ng value na or ang mode ng data na to is just 1 kasi yan yung may pinakamaraming values. Okay? So that's our mode. Now, we can classify or pwede tayong makakuha ng walang mode, or we can say that a data has no mode kapag walang nauulit-ulit na numbers. Pwede namang isang mode lang, or what we call the unimodal. So pag 0, meaning no mode. No mode. Pag iisa lang yung nakuha nyong value or iisa lang yung parang may pinakamalaking value, of course, that's 1 or that's unimodal. Okay? Meron namang dalawa ang magiging makukuha mong mode that's called to be bimodal. And there are cases din na mas marami pa kaysa sa dalawang makukuha mong mode ng ungrouped data. Basta ba, you need to remember that ang mode, yan yung pinakamaraming bilang ng number na yon na nagpapakita, or just consider the number that are being repeated a lot. Yung may pinakamaraming bilang. So, like for example, here is the list of the data and you are trying to find the mode. So, ang pwede mong gawin is ilista mo lahat yan. So, ilan yung 3 na nabibilang mo? Of course, iisa lang. Ilan yung 4? Iisa lang din. How about 7? Ilan yung nakikita mo? May 3 ka. That's your 3. Paano naman yung 8? Iisa lang din. Your 11? 2 lang. Yung 14, isa lang. 18, isa lang din. And your 19, iisa lang. Now, kung pagbabasehan mo yung nilista mo dito, or if you're going to base your answers or your deduction from the numbers on the right part, ang makikita mo na may maraming bilang is this. Therefore, the mode of this data is just equal to 7. That's it. How about if this is the case? So, ang gagawin mo lang is, you list all the possible values. Since meron kang 6, 9, meron ka ding 12, you have also 15, you have also 21, and you have also 35. Now, count kung ilan yung nakikita mo dyan. Yung 6 mo, meron ka lamang 3. Your 9, you have 4. Yung 12 mo, meron kang 6. Yung 15 mo, meron ka ding 6. Your 21, dalawa lang. Your 35, dalawa lang rin. As you can see, magkapareho yung bilang ng 12 and 15. And sila yung may pinakamaraming bilang. Therefore, ang mode ng inyong data here is just 12 and 15. And this is an example of a bimodal. Meaning, dalawa ang kanyang modes. Naintindihan? Now, let's try to remember. Ang inyong mean is like this. You just get the average. Ang inyong median is like this. You arrange the data, you get the number on the middle portion. Ang mode, X hot. That's X hot. Okay? Yan naman is kung ano yung may pinakamaraming bilang ng value na nauulit-ulit. That's your mode. And it's easy since we are only tackling or discussing with the ungrouped data. Kasi iba rin naman yung ating gagamiting formula for grouped. Meaning na meron ka ng frequencies, meron ka ng interval, meron ka ng range. So magkaiba yung gagamitin yung formula doon. Ang good news, ang gagamitin nyo lang for today or for the duration of your midterm exam is the formula for ungrouped data. Okay? So, yun yung ating mga means of central tendency. Now, let's go on to the means or the measures of variation. Pag sinabi mong variation, yung pagkakaiba-iba. So, what is the difference or paano ba yung ka-spread ng data sa isa't isa? That is our measure of variation. And ginagamit natin yung variance as an example sa ating method of variation or measures of variation rather. And pag sinabi nating variance, it is referred to as a statistical measurement of the spread between numbers in a data set. Ibig sabihin, what if i-plot mo yung mga data mo? Pag naaalala ninyo, one of the presentations of your data is tabular form. Meron tayong tinatawag dun na, or graphical rather. And we have there the scatter plot diagram. Ang sinasabi ng scatter plot, you have two axes and meron ka ditong, for example, this is your first data, second data, third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth. So, gaano sila ka-spread or kadikit sa isa't isa? You can do or you can describe their spreadness using variance. So, yan yung ginagamit natin for the measures of variation. So, again, here, meron ulit tayong different formula for the variance of an ungrouped data from the variance of a group data. Since we are just only talking about ungrouped data, yun lamang yung aking ibibigay. So, we use S squared to denote sample variance, meaning the variance of a sample is just S squared. And ang gagamitin mo lang na formula is this. Yan lang yung formula niya. And for you to understand that, let's try to look at an example. So, if you are given the ungrouped data na 100, 102, 118, 124, and 126, and you are tasked or asked to find the variance, ang una mong gagawin is to plot them on a table. So, yan yung magiging X mo. So, what you need here in our formula is, of course, get your X. Ang X dito ay yung given. And you need here this, and you know what this means. This is your mean, yes. And you need your N. Or N is just the number of items, which is your 5. Therefore, you will just list all your numbers here. And then, what you're going to do is get their summation. Parang kukunin mo lang yung number niya. So that's the total solution or the total sum of the values of X. Now, ang una mo nang gagawin is you minus 100 with your mean. Pero hindi mo alam kung ano yung mean mo. So you get the mean of this data. And you can do that by using the formula. I-add mo lang sila divided by the total number of items, which is 5. So when you add the data, you will get 570 all over 5. So 570 all over 5, it's 114. Therefore, ang ilalagay na natin dito sa X minus X bar is just 100 minus 114. That's negative 14. 102 minus 114, that's negative 12. 118 minus 114, that's 4. 124 minus 114, that's 10. And 126 minus 114, that's 12. Now, for you to get this, you just need to square the numbers. So 14 times 14, kasi 14 times 14 is just the same as 4 squared. So 14 squared. 14 squared, that's 169. 12 times 12, that's 144. 4 times 4, that's just equal to 16. 10 times 10, that's 100. And 12 times 12, that's 144. So yan yung data natin. But what we need is the summation of all of that. Pag summation, just add them. So pag addin mo lang lahat to, you will be getting 600. Now, for you to get your variance, of course, you need to substitute it to the formula. Now, nakuha na natin itong numerator, and that's 600 all over your n minus 1, or just 5. So 600 all over, that's s squared, 5 minus 1. So s squared, or your variance, is just equal to 600 all over 4. Or when you simplify it, you will get your variance to be 150. So the variance of this example is 150. Okay? So another example, it's easier na since you have already your formula and it is already an ungrouped data. Mas madaling kunin or i-measure ang central tendency and variation ng mga data na ungrouped. They are less complicated when it is or compared to the group data. Okay? Now, you're trying to find the variance of the data or the numbers 1 or 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And you need to know the formula, of course. And in the formula, you need to get your x, you need to get your x prime or your mean, you need to get your x minus x bar or x minus mean, and you need to get their total number of or the square of your x minus mean. So we also need your n. Ang n natin dito is just equal to 5 kasi lilima lamang sila. Now, ang x ninyo, you will just write 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 there. And then you add all of them to get 25. Now, your x minus x bar, first you need your mean. And ang mean lang naman natin is add 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 and you divide it by 5. That's just simply equal to 5. That's your mean. So, 3 minus 5, that's equal to negative 2. 4 minus 5, that's equal to negative 1. 5 minus 5, that's equal to 0. And 6 minus 5, that's equal to 1. 7 minus 5, that's equal to 2. But you need to square them. So negative 2 times negative 2, that's 4. Negative 1 squared, that's 1. 0 squared, still 0. 1 squared, 1. 2 squared, 4. And you need to add them. That's why you will be getting 10. So yung 10 mo, yan na to. Okay? And so for you to get this, you just need to input or substitute all of it in your formula. So the numerator will be equal to 10. And since meron kang n na 5, so 5 minus 1, that's 4. So 10 over 4 is just equal to 2.5. That's the variance of the data na 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 2.5 lang yung kanyang variance. Now, another way on or another method or example of a measure of central tendency is the standard deviation. Sinabi ko kanina that some of the most important types of measures of central tendency are the mean, mode, and median. So sila yung mga ilan sa mga importante. But also, standard deviation is also important. Maybe not more important than these three, pero important pa rin. And it is an example of a measure of central tendency. And ang ginagawa mo lamang for standard deviation is to square root the variance. So once nakuha mo na yung variance, square root mo lang. And that's the time or that's how you will get your standard deviation. Okay? So yung nasa loob, that's just your s squared equals the summation of x minus x bar squared, quantity squared, all over n minus 1. This is your variance. Pero itong nasa taas, since wala ka nang squared dun sa s mo, this is already your standard deviation. So ulit, this one is for the mean, this one is for the median, this one is for the mode, S squared is for variance, and S is for standard deviation. Now, ang gagamitin mo na lang is, for example, ginamit natin yung kinuha ko kanina. That is the variance. Ang kinukuha natin, ang hinahanap natin ay S. So, we just need to square root your 150. And that would give you 12 point the following. Pero, just round it off to the second or up to 2 decimal places. Kaya siya 24. Kasi 7 tong nandito. Okay? And same way, dun sa 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 natin kanina, if the standard or the variance is 2.5, for you to get the standard deviation, you need to square root 2.5. And that's just equal to this one. Pero I said again, just round it off to up to the decimal places. So that's 1.58. And that's it. That's your measures of central tendency. Okay, so we've learned about how to get the mean, the mode, the median, the standard deviation, and the variance of a non-group data. And next time, maybe we will also be able to talk about the different measures of central tendency of a group data. Group naman. Okay? So please read and analyze this, understand this so that in your midterm examination, hindi na kayo masyadong mahirapan. Okay? So good luck. That's all. And stay safe, Uping.